Welcome to Rom Wills Money Matters. Make that dollar holler. And what does that mean? What does that mean exactly? Well, it was an old saying came up with making a dollar holler. That's stretching that money. That's like, that's similar to making 15 cents into a dollar. That means what it basically means is managing that money. Now, one of the reasons I changed the title of this channel from Rom Wills About Their Business to Money Matters because I'm seeing a big issue is simply management of money. Because you got some people out here with it. I remember this young lady I worked on, we worked at a gym. She was working there part-time. And I found out that she was, and this is when I was working there part-time, she was actually working at this retail place, but was actually making more money than I was making with the government. She was actually making more money. And she was working this job in a part-time job. Yes, she didn't have her own place. But then I found out she was not responsible in how she spent her money. She was not responsible in how she spent her money. She didn't make that dollar holler. And reason why I'm saying that, because, look, let's be real with everything going on out here. Oh, it's bad. I mean, they saying recession now. At some point, they might just say, this is a depression at some point. Because there's not going to be a swift recovery. There's not going to be a swift recovery. I just found out in California, they reclosing things. They had opened up and now they reclosing. So that's going to affect the economy. In a lot of places, they reclosing. And then even the places that are open, they ain't open to full capacity. So this is not going to be a quick thing. And people don't realize that, many businesses have gone out. And because they've gone out, because they closed their doors, that's affecting jobs where people can work. And it's not going to straighten up until there are massive jobs. I don't care how much money you throw at it. People got to create businesses. Right? So we're going to be at this a while. So it's going to be tight. But even then, people just got to be tight with their money. See, one thing I've noticed, a lot of people spend money on things they don't really need. When I was working retail, we would call them tchotchke gifts or something. Like during the Christmas time, there'd be a lot of just small things. There's no practical use. They're just gifts to give to somebody. Just say you gave them somebody. But they were a waste. I'm going to be real with you. They were a waste. They weren't practical. And there's a lot of stuff in this economy that is not practical. Like food is practical. Food is practical. But just some cute, some cute toy or something to play with, some novelty gift ain't. People got to think about it. I hate to say it. I know some people who actually make those things probably jump on my case. But yeah, let's be real. Right now, they can't afford it. People going to have to focus on mainly food. And even with the food, people might have to cut back some. You might not be able to gorge like you used to or go out to all the restaurants like you used to. And you might even have to, first of all, depending on where you are, they're closed anyway. But then you might have to get good at cooking or something, You might have to get good at cooking. You have to save money there. You might not be able to go out as much. Well, a lot of places you can anyway, but you can save money on gas, cars. Shoot, some people might have to downgrade their cars. Some people might have to downgrade where they live, their living situation. Seriously, you got to stretch that dollar because it's going to be tight. It's going to be tight. Yeah, there's some businesses still open, but I'm going to tell you what, it's so tight, even people in white-collar professions are losing their jobs. And honestly, because of the businesses going out, that's going to affect even government workers because they get paid off of tax dollars. Like, the main thing that pays government workers is not like the income tax from individuals, which is going to be cut back soon anyway, but the money in any jurisdiction is usually the retail and, that's clothing stores, restaurants, businesses and stuff. The tax from them that actually keep people, they actually goes to the government more. and it's not going to be as much of that. So it's going to be tight all the way around. But this is the time for people to really look at things and say, well, do I really need that extra pair of shoes? Because, of course, I know plenty of people get shoes like crazy. In fact, I ain't going to lie, I'm a shoe hound. And since this thing started, I have not purchased a new pair of shoes, you know? And with school coming, this might be the first time I ain't get my sons a new pair of shoes to start school. Good. Well, one, they got some good stuff anyway. They going to have to start, and that's if the oldest graduate, but the youngest can even go to school. No, you got to cut back everything. You might not be able to get all those fly clothing. Even though the stores are open, I haven't really bought much. I think I bought some inexpensive V-necks, which I still got to wear. Anyway, but, you got to think about it. You probably need to sit down, write out a budget, write out a list, write down the things you have to have. That's the first thing. Have to have. You have to have food. You don't have to go out as much. You can cook at home. If you don't know how to cook, watch some videos on how to cook. You should know how to cook anyway. You had to cook at home. And I'm saying this, I'm somebody like going to restaurants, especially my sons. My sons, they love hitting the restaurants. Like, well, no, we're going to have to cook a little bit more. Ironically, I can actually afford still to go to restaurants. Ironically. Like without missing a beat, but it was just like, I still need to save that money a little bit more, still put stuff away. Like, especially if you're really making some money, put some away. Just get in that habit because you don't know when stuff is going to get cut off. Like, this is the time people need to develop savings habits, because one of the stats I've seen regarding savings, that there's a lot of people who cannot handle a $400 emergency. And I'm like, wow, that's crazy. That's crazy. Everybody should be able to, everybody should work to build their savings. And they can do this even if it's tight. And I'm going to tell you what, too. People can at least, there's a lot of times people got to look at their vices, too. There's a lot, if you go in some of these poor neighborhoods, one of the things that's keeping a lot of people in those poor neighborhoods are the liquor stores, places selling cigarettes, a lot of other stuff. And it's like, well, do you really need to use that? And people need to look at that anyway, especially stuff like cigarette smoking and stuff, tobacco use. You need to do it. That's one business that probably need to go out. Hey, I know some businesses ain't gonna hear me say that, but that needs to go out because that's expensive. That's an expensive ass habit. And a lot of people, if you cut that out, shoot, that'll start giving you more money. But yeah, you gotta stretch that thing out as best as possible. See where you can get maybe food cheaper. Find the farmers markets. I know where I live, there's a farmers market that's, people got the mask on and everything, but it's getting started again. People starting to hit that up. Find where you can get the food less expensive. You might have to drive a little bit, limit some of the things you're doing, like save, like as far as saving, one of the first things a person should do is always pay themselves anyway. Always pay, even if it's a little bit. It could be $5 off your check, but it adds up after a while. It adds up because then as you get more money, you can add more to it. Find some way. Make that dollar holler. Like, get everything you can out of that $1. It's very important now more than ever. Because you can survive it. Everything coming, people can survive it. But this is the time more than ever just for money management. Whether you own a business, whether you work a 9 to 5, even if you just getting unemployment, you need to make that dollar holler. All right. So anyway, that's all I got for today. Peace and blessings.